Hello and welcome to another kind of build. I was playing Elden Ring like a lot of people did in the last time, and when I started to play in New Game Plus, I decided to re-roll my current build and try something else. And this build here is a new one that I want to share with you today. Um, to make it clear from the beginning, this is probably not the best build around. It's more of a stylish and fun to play build. But yeah, I've killed 3 demigods so far in New Game Plus and I didn't have any big problems, so it could be working for you as well. What is important to know is that this is a very late game build. Like I said, I'm in New Game Plus and around level 170, so this is not like your total beginner or mid-game, late-game build. It's more of an advanced of this. But yeah, I have my fun. So let's get started. I focused my character around lightning damage, and this is my current equipment. I'm using a Highland Axe at the moment, with the Ashes of War Lightning Slash for lightning affinity to this weapon. And it's important to know that Lightning Slash changes the attribute scaling. It decreases Strange and increases Dex. So you want to invest more in Vests than you want to in Strange. As my shield, I'm using the Brush Shield, but you can probably use any other shield that gives you 100% physical damage reduction. But this one here gives the most physical defenses or magic, fire, the other defenses that I have so far, and I'm using the Ashes of War barricade shield so that I don't waste ammo when I block, so I can guard counter enemies easily. And the other weapon in my left hand is a Clawmark seal. You need a seal to use your incantations. I've used this one because, to be honest, I don't have so much others, and I can't use the other ones that I have. So I'm going with this one. But of course, like the shield, you can of course switch any of the equipment here out. It's just for my personal preference that I'm using this axe and this shield. I mean, look at this axe with the runes carved in it. It reminds me of the God of War axe, and that's why I choose to play with this weapon here. I mean, for more damage you can still switch it out for, like example, the Great Axe here. And it should boost your damage, of course, but it attacks way slower. That's why I choose a one-handed weapon. But of course you can choose any other weapon that you want that you can use any Ash of War. But for my second playthrough I decided to not use any of the bleed weapons that there are a lot of course, in the game. And decided to do something else without bleed and without any ashes, spirit ashes of course I mean. So yeah, that's why I choose this axe. For my armor I'm using Millennia's gear, but that's again mostly for style reason or for fashion souls reasons. From a defensive point of view, it's not that great of an armor. If you compare it here, we've got 242 physical damage negotiation, 163 magic, 190 fire, 135 lightning, and 153 holy resistance. And for comparison, if we switch it out to a better armor with more resistance, it should work way better for this build. So let's switch it out. So for example, you can switch it out for advanced armor. It's important that you can still met-roll with this armor. So, if you wanna play the best out of it, use the heaviest armor you can find, but you can still met-roll with. And as you can see, the damage negotiation here went totally up from 40 to 50%, and every other stat is almost 50 as well. So, if you want to play the most out of it, it's better to use the heavier armor. But yeah, like I said, for style reasons, I'm rolling with Melania's armor. For my Talismans, I'm using the Erdtree's Favor +2. It raises maximum HP, stamina, and the equip load. That's probably one of the best talisman for every build that you want to play. What's important for this build is this Lightning Scorpion Charm, because it raises lightning attacks, yeah, but still lowers the damage negotiation a bit. And I'm using the Ritual Shield Talisman to raise my defense when my HP is at maximum, so I don't get hit that hard. And as my fourth talisman, I'm using at the moment the Crimson Ember Talisman +2, and it raises my maximum HP for around 200, not that much XP. HP. Yeah. But you can switch this out, of course. You can probably choose the Blessed Dew Talisman to restore your HP, the Green Turtle Talisman to boost your stamina recovery speed. If you want to choose a very heavy armor, you can go for the Arsenal Charm, so you can use a higher equip load, of course. You can go for the Dragon Crest Great Talisman to boost your damage negotiation. If you want to play with guard counters more often, this might be an option, the Cursed Sword Talisman. Or if you want to more of a caster build with this one, the Moon of Nostella increases your memory slots, or Radagon's Icon for the casting time, or the Lord's Talisman for the spell effect duration, if you want to go for more casting build. Yeah. The other talismans that I have in possession aren't that helpful, I think. So yeah, this here are your other options. So next we wanna look at the spells. So I'm using Placidius Sex Ruin, to be honest, just for fun. It's not that necessary for this build to work. It's a cool animation and a nice AoE, but you don't need it that much. What's important is Golden Vow to increase your attack damage, and the protection of the Erdtree to increase your damage negotiation. It's important for bosses to have these two. Not so much for most of the game. You can still deal good and viable damage without Golden Bow, but yeah, it's of course nice to have. I'm using Lightning Spear for enemies that are far away or are flying, and Hound Bolt, yeah, it's a very nice spell to cast, and it doesn't cost that much. It's another option for Lightning Spear. And my last spell is Death Lightning. It's an AoE attack with, like the name says, with Death Lightning. But of course, if you want to go for more lightning damage, here's of course the Ancient Dragon's Lightning Spear and the Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike. These are other options that you can choose. and they both don't cost that much of faith to use. So let's have a look at the stats next. I'm level 171 at the moment, and I have 55 vigor, 30 mind, 30 endurance, 20 strange, 45 dexterity, 14 intelligence, 47 faith, and 9 arcane. My starting class when I started the game was a prisoner, that's why I have so much points in intelligence. If you want to go for this build directly, it's better to choose the Prophet or the Confessor build as a starting class. Vigor is important, of course. You don't want to get one shot in the end game, and you need at least 40 to 50 vigor in the end game, in my opinion, to just survive. Endurance at 30 is okay. I don't have stamina problems at the moment. Mind at 30 is going well for me as well. I might want to increase it a bit more, but I don't need that much FP to play with my build. So yeah. Dex 3 boosts my damage output, because, like I said, if you put Lightning Slash on your weapon, it scales more with Dex than it does with any other stat. So that's why I put so much point in Dex. And Face is at 47 to use Death Lightning. It needs that much faith to use. But if you don't want to use Death Lightning, you can, of course, lower the faith and put points in other stuff like Endurance, Dexterity, Mind, or Vigor. Yeah, so much for the stats. Let's have a look at the damage and the way you want to play. First I want to show off an unbuffed, unbuffed gameplay. So as you can see, almost 600 damage if I hit these little aliens here. And I need 3 hits. Yeah, come on, attack me, red dude. And you see how much damage I get. Come on, hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Yeah, this failed a little bit. I wanted him to hit me when I have a barricade shield up, so I don't waste stamina when I use my guard counter. That's a very good way to counter the enemy attacks. And as you have seen, I get a lot of damage when I get hit. That's because of my low armor and low resistances. And next, we want to have a look at the full buffed alternative. As you just saw, it's okay to play unbuffed. It's not that strong, of course, but it's still good. You get clear. I want to use Lightning Slash first. It does damage when you hit an enemy with it, and as you can see, you get more lightning infused in your weapon. We want to use Golden Vogue to boost our attack, and Protection of the Earth-Tree to boost our defenses. And now, let's look at it again. So damage goes up from 581 to 670 damage with the buffs increased. And as you saw, the Protection of the Earth gave a slight difference to the damage input I got. It's not that much, of course, but yeah, it's still a good option for bosses also. guard counter, enemy slain. Easy peasy. Yeah. So much for the normal gameplay. Now to show off some of the spells. So, lightning spear for the ranged option. Doesn't deal that much damage. Oops, wrong spell. Yes, it's a nice spammable attack. And your AoE options, we've got Deathlight. It does a good amount of damage to all your surroundings. And Placidu's Sex Ruin that I have mostly for spell reasons because, yeah, look at it go. Look at this huge AoE and the burst at the end, which didn't hit so many enemies when I was that far away. It's hard to pull off, as you saw, when you don't have enemies lined up in front of you and they interrupt your spells. The last thing is about the flask. The flasks. I'm using at the moment more flask of Crimson Tears than I do of Cerulean Tears, because I don't use my spells very often. I'm more of a melee focused guy. Yeah, I would recommend to use more Crimson Tears than you do with the FP Tears, but you can still switch around a bit. Like I said, when you want to be using more spells, it's probably better to go half and half, or maybe slightly a bit more of the blue tears than of the others. And for my Flask of Wondrous Physics, I'm using the Lightning Shrouded Cracked here to boost my lightning attacks, and Crimson Crystal Tear to restore my maximum HP. So yeah, if you use this too, you still get more damage output if you want to use it probably directly when you start a boss fight and you've buffed your other stuff and you deal a lot of lightning damage with this one. So, that's it. I hope you enjoyed and have a nice day.